If you are just so tired of looking at that cracked concrete or worn-out floor, then you are in the right place. Today, we are installing professional-grade, heavy-duty rubber tiles. I'm talking about the kind of high-impact flooring you see in the best commercial gyms. And you know what? I'm going to show you exactly how to get that same flawless, pro-level result all by yourself.
So, are you ready for a serious upgrade? I mean, whether it's for your home gym, your garage, maybe a workshop, the right floor makes all the difference. If you want something that is not only super tough, but also looks absolutely fantastic, stick around.
And this is the kind of transformation we're talking about. Look at the left. That's the problem, right? Cracked, uneven surfaces that are not only unsafe, but can actually damage your expensive equipment. And then, on the right, that's the solution. A seamless, durable rubber floor that looks incredible and performs even better. It is a total game changer.
So you might be wondering, why these super thick 1-inch tiles? Well, the benefits are just huge. First off, you get maximum shock absorption, which is absolutely perfect for things like weightlifting. They also protect your subfloor from getting all beat up, and a huge plus, especially for home gyms, is that they seriously reduce noise. On top of all that, they're built to last forever and give you that clean, professional look we're all after. All right, let's get right into it. We're going to start with what I call the blueprint. This is all about preparation, and trust me on this, getting this part right is absolutely the key to a successful, great-looking installation.
So here's your tool checklist. And the good news? You probably have most of this stuff already. We're talking about the basics, a tape measure, a utility knife, and a chalk line to get those perfectly straight guides. A rubber mallet is going to be your best friend for setting the tiles, and you'll only need adhesive if you're not going wall to wall. Now for cutting, a simple utility knife totally works. But a jigsaw? A jigsaw is going to make your life a whole lot easier.
Surface prep really just comes down to 3 simple steps. First, you got to acclimate the tiles. Just unpack them, lay them out in the room for about 48 hours. This lets them adjust to the temperature and humidity. Second, clean that subfloor like you mean it. It needs to be totally free of any dust or debris. And finally, you have to plan for containment. If you're going wall to wall, the walls themselves will lock the floor in. But for a freestanding mat, you'll need a little adhesive and some ramps for the edges.
Okay, I really want you to pay attention to this slide because this is probably the most critical rule of the entire project. Your subfloor, I don't care if it's concrete, wood, or tile, it absolutely must be smooth, clean, and completely dry. Seriously, this foundation is non-negotiable if you want a professional result.
Okay, with all the prep work done, we can move to the second part of our blueprint, laying out the perfect grid. This little secret is what separates a DIY job from a truly professional-looking floor.
And here's a pro tip that you really need to take to heart. Take your time getting the layout lines right. This is what's going to make sure your tiles stay perfectly straight and you don't end up with weird, uneven gaps as you go along.
Now, to get a perfect starting corner, we're going to use a classic trick called the 3-4-5 method. I know it sounds a little technical, but it's so simple. From your starting corner, you just measure 3 feet down one line and 4 feet down the other. Then measure the diagonal distance between those 2 points. If it's exactly 5 feet, boom, you've got a perfect 90-degree angle. It's just a simple geometry trick that guarantees your whole floor starts off perfectly square.
So here's how you actually do it. First, snap a reference line that runs parallel to your longest wall. Next, find the exact center of that line. From that center point, you're going to use that 3-4-5 method we just talked about to snap a second line that is perfectly perpendicular to the first one. That little intersection where your 2 chalk lines cross, that is exactly where your very first tile is going to go.
Okay, the blueprint is officially complete. Our lines are snapped, our surface is prepped and clean. Now it's time for the fun part, the build. This is the hands-on journey of actually bringing this floor to life.
The real magic behind these tiles is what's called the dowel interlocking system. It's awesome. You just insert these tough little plastic pins into the edges of the tiles. This system locks them together so securely, creating one solid unified surface that is not going to shift around. Getting this first row right is so important. Start by inserting the dowel pins into 2 sides of your very first tile. Then place it directly on that intersection of your chalk lines. After that, you just line up the holes of the next tile with the exposed pins and press them together firmly. See? It's that simple.
Let me give you a pro tip that's going to make the installation way smoother. This is really a two-person job. Have one person stand on the tile you just laid to keep it stable, while the other person pushes the new tile into place. This little trick ensures you get a really tight connection every single time.
To make those seams practically disappear, you want them perfectly tight. Just use your rubber mallet or even a block of wood with a small sledgehammer to gently tap the tiles together, right at the connection points. This closes up any tiny gaps and gives you that seamless, solid look you're going for.
So once that first row is done, the rest of the floor comes together in this cool gridlock pattern. For each new tile, you're going to insert dowels on two sides again. But this time, you're connecting it both horizontally to the tile next to it and vertically to the tile in the row below it. This dual-side connection is what makes the final floor so incredibly stable.
And just like that, the main part of the floor is installed. We're in the home stretch. Now for the final stage, the finishing touches. This is where we'll handle those cuts along the wall and talk about how to take care of your brand new floor.
Now, when it's time to cut the tiles for the edges along the walls, you've got a couple of options. A jigsaw or a bandsaw is going to be faster, super precise, and takes way less effort. Just make sure you use a wood cutting blade. A heavy-duty utility knife also works great. It's just a bit slower and definitely more of a workout. The key here is to have plenty of extra blades because this rubber will dull them down really fast.
Here are some super important tips for getting clean cuts. You've heard it before. Measure twice, cut once, always. Use a metal straight edge as a guide to keep your line perfect. If you're using a utility knife, score the line a few times before you try to cut all the way through. And please, for safety's sake, never use a circular saw. It can bind up on the rubber and kick back at you. Finally, just place the cut edge against the wall and it'll hide any little imperfections.
The best part is, long-term care for this floor is incredibly simple. Just give it a day or two to settle before you start moving heavy equipment onto it. Then all you gotta do is sweep or vacuum it. If you have any spills, a little bit of mild soap and water is all you'll ever need. Just stay away from any harsh chemical cleaners, and your floor will look amazing for years to come.
And there you have it. You did it. You've successfully installed a professional-grade floor. And remember, this surface is so much more than just rubber. It's the foundation for your workouts, your projects, and all your goals.
So now that your professional-grade foundation is in place, there's really only one question left to ask. What are you going to build on it? Thanks for joining me on this one, and I'll catch you next time.